Yuuto wakes up surrounded by two of the most beautiful Wolf Clan girls. The two are really fond of him and want to give him not just food but everything else as well, if you know what I mean. However, our boy Yuuto already has a girlfriend and is as loyal gets. In a world full of women who cannot seem to resist his charm, Yuuto is a junior high school student who's accidentally transported to the late Bronze Age and is stuck there. In the quest to survival, Yuuto inadvertently rose to become the patriarch of the Wolf Clan. He provides the knowledge of the modern world to that period using his smartphone and helps to make the life of the people easier. However, he has one goal: to be back in the present times and meet the love of his life. Is he able to skip the chaos and find his way back? We will find that out. Yuuto has an Aaron of the Wolf Clan and a sworn sister, Felicia, who treats him like a master and helps him in everything. The Wolf Clan gets attacked by the Horn Clan, and Yuuto reaches there with Felicia to help the troops. The Wolf Clan then defeats the Horn Clan using phalanx formations, which Yuuto figures out. Thanks to his experience in the 21st century, that is. Yuuto is then nearly attacked when another female Aaron from the Wolf Clan named Sigrun comes there and protects him against the sword. They win the battle and capture the head of the Horn Clan, Linnea. She's tied up and brought in front of Yuuto. Linnea is afraid, but to her surprise, Yuuto asks her to be his little sister instead. This leaves her in confusion, and she denies it at first, but Yuuto threatens to set fire to the Horn Clan's capital, which compels her to agree. Now the Horn Clan would also be under the control of the Wolf Clan. After his victory, Yuuto is grandly welcomed in the city by the people of his clan. On the way to the temple, he gets interrupted by his uncles. Yes, Yuuto has formed imaginary relationships with all the people from his clan. They start complaining to him about the disrespect against the gods, and how it was their prayer that saved him in battle. But Yuuto is late for his call and has no time for this, so Felicia smartly covers it up for him. He then runs to the top to reach for his cell phone and contacts his girlfriend Mitsuki, who's in the 21st century. She asks him when he's returning to the present world, and he assures her that he's still figuring things out and he'll be back soon after making this place safer for the people here. He doesn't even know how to return home in the first place, so it may take a while. The next morning, Felicia and Sigrun go to Yuuto's room to wake him up for breakfast. They both are very fond of Yuuto and leave no chance to serve him. However, Yuuto is very loyal to his girlfriend and does not accept much of whatever they were offering. It simply wasn't just food. After that, they go to the weapons forge of a female blacksmith named Isekai'd, and like the other two girls, she also seemed to have feelings for him. They catch up for a while as she's a little angry that Yuuto did not come to see her earlier. Yuuto tells her about his new little sister from the Horn Clan and asks Isekai'd to make a new technology weapon for them like she used to for their clan. She politely accepts the request. Later that day, Yuuto and Linnea attend a ceremony where they have a drink and swear to officially become brothers and sisters. When they come out on the balcony for a little chit-chat, Linnea begs Yuuto to treat the people of the Horn Clan with the same equality as he does to the Wolf Clan. She's afraid he might treat her people poorly. That might make her feel guilty as she's supposed to save them. Suddenly they get news inside, that the Claw Clan sent troops to attack the Horn Clan. Yuuto immediately offers to send the Wolf Clan's troops to rescue the Horn Clan since it is also under him currently. This decision is not accepted by the rest of the people. However, he ensures that both of the clans are his responsibility and gives them his order to lead the army. This makes a good impression on Linnea, and she also begins to trust him. In the days that followed, Sigrun repeatedly leads cavalrymen to the Claw Clan's barracks. This makes the soldiers exhausted, as they couldn't catch sleep the whole night. When the time comes, Yuuto leads the Wolf Clan's army to confront the Claw Clan. His formation easily blocked the enemy's advance, but the leader of the Claw Clan discovers that the weak point of this formation is on the flanks. Then he leads the cavalry squad to attack the left flank of the Wolf Clan. With his superior strength, he easily penetrates their formation, so Sigrun has to show up to stop him. He's a mighty warrior, so Sigrun struggles to defeat him, but after some time she manages to wound him with a fatal slash from her katana. Then the entire army of Claw Clan surrenders, seeing their leader being vanquished. When the war is over, Yuuto is taking a hot water bath where Felicia and Sigrun are also present, because that is just a casual thing for anime. Linnea suddenly appears there and joins them. After being asked why she had come there, she asks Yuuto to marry him. They have a sit-down conversation afterward where she reveals that she is a hereditary patriarch, which leaves Yuuto in shock, as she shouldn't be sharing that information with anyone. But she isn't bothered by it as she's trying to give it away. She says that both the Wolf Clan and the Horn Clan can be merged together, and she considers herself not talented enough to lead the Horn Clan alone. She promises to serve him and his people. This leaves Yuuto to think for a while, so Felicia covers up for him. She says he'll need some time to think about it, as the wedding is a big decision which cannot be made alone. Linnea sadly agrees. After Linnea and Sigrun leave the room, Felicia tries to convince Yuuto that it's okay for him to make the decision to marry Linnea. She tries to point out the benefits he might get after the marriage. Despite her being supportive of it, Yuuto doesn't agree. He instead asks Felicia to help him stop the wedding between them. She gets overjoyed by the trust Yuuto showed to her and gets enthusiastic in order to help him out. A party is held to celebrate the victory over the Claw Clan's invasion, where Yuuto and Linnea are sitting together. Felicia comes nearby and tries to get close to Yuuto to make Linnea feel jealous. The plan doesn't seem to be working though. The party is interrupted when a young man named Stinpor suddenly appears. Upon coming closer, Yuuto realizes he's the leader of the Lightning Clan and the murderer of the previous Horn Clan's patriarch. The guards try to stop him, however he breaks the weapon of every attacker with just a snap of his fingers. Sigrun senses that he's an extremely powerful person, so she decides to tread carefully. The man then enters inside to threaten Yuuto. Apparently, this man has a Yu root in the entire Horn Clan. However, he realizes Yuuto is too tough, so he quickly exits the party. After the party, Yuuto calls Mitsuki and she chastises him for not calling in for such a long time. They share some moments and finally make it up to each other. I guess long distance does work out for some people. Although in this case, it would be a long timeline relationship because they aren't even on the same timeline. Later, Yuuto goes to visit the city to monitor the people's trade with Sigrun. He accidentally passes by a poor mother and daughter being sold in the slave market. He shows empathy for that poor little girl, so he buys both of them and takes them to his palace. As soon as they're back at the palace, a pair of twins asks to see Yuuto. They happen to be the princess of the Claw clan. The blue-haired sister is named Christina, and the purple-haired sister is named Albertina. According to them, they're sent there by their father to ask to marry Yuuto. However, Yuuto turns these sisters down. Christina then reveals that it was just a test for him and he wants to be his sworn sister instead because they regard him as the greatest patriarch in the city. Yuuto therefore adopts them too. This man is the greatest Chad to ever live. F in the comments to pay respect, guys. Felicia, the girls, and Yuuto board a chariot to travel to a farming community in the Horn Clan's domain. The twins speed the chariot with wind magic. Yuuto sends someone to the city to teach the people how to do rotational farming, which is about growing a variety of agricultural products in a single field, instead of just growing a single fruit tree. However, people didn't want to follow suit as they didn't believe in Yuuto's new way of doing things. They didn't want to follow the other clan's policy on them, so he requests Linnea's assistance in persuading the crowd. Linnea's appeal was swiftly answered because she was the leader of the Horn Clan. Linnea visits Yuuto's room that evening and makes an effort to woo him, but he fiercely opposes Linnea's approaches. This man is more dedicated to his girlfriend than Gen Z's to vape. Seeing her sad, he reveals the reason behind it. He admits that he's from a different era and that Mitsuki, his long-lost love, is waiting for him in his hometown. Linnea is determined that she won't give up on him, but when Yuuto convinces her, she believes him. He even praises her for how good of a leader she is and what potential she has. All this conversation was secretly being heard by Felicia across the room. After a while, she enters the room with an important message, cutting off their talk. According to her, Stinpor directed his soldiers to battle the Wolf Clan. In the presence of all the sisters, they all talk about the imminent battle. While Albertina and Christina volunteer to spy on the Lightning Clan, Yuuto starts to research Stinpor and discovers that he was a brave fool who can only use brute force. He was so strong that he was able to destroy a castle alone, but he probably couldn't even do simple math. Also, since he became the leader, the Lightning Clan has never lost any match. Upon knowing this information, Yuuto takes a vow that he will not be defeated. The next day, Yuuto leads his army to face Stinpor's army, and as the fighting starts, the Lightning Clan's troops are shot down by the Wolf Clan's troops. They're all equipped with modern bows and crossbows than the Lightning Clan. Thus, they get the upper hand. Stinpor gives the order for the entire army to press on, despite realizing that their crossbows are taking a long time to reload. Despite the attempts, a Wolf Clan emerges and stops his army. A Stinpor general assumed Yuuto had ordered Sigrun to lead a cavalry force to raid the enemy's right flank, but Sigrun's cavalry was intercepted after Yuuto's signal. Stinpor is still stronger, so he easily defeats the enemy general, but Stinpor appears in time to save his hero's life. And after fighting with Stinpor for a while, Sigrun quickly withdraws because he's too strong. With only a few strokes of his hammer, Stinpor rapidly dissolves the Wolf Clan's formation after charging head-on into it. Yuuto immediately gives the order to retreat after seeing Stinpor's amazing strength. To escape Stinpor's pursuit, they had to cross a river, but once there, he still caught up with him. Yuuto orders Felicia and his other generals to stay behind to hold Stinpor, and after a brief battle with him, they all fall to his power, but they quickly withdraw as their mission is only to keep him. Immediately after, a flood suddenly flows from upstream and sweeps away all of his troops. Turns out, Yuuto had Linnea build a dam upstream and he faked a feed to lure Stinpor to chase him all the way to the riverbank. And then he let someone else release water from the upstream when he and the Lightning Clan passed this river. Despite the severe injuries, Stinpor gets lucky to escape the flood and falls across it after a while. It doesn't take long to realize that the victory is of Yuuto. Yuuto resumes his daily clan activities after this battle. He takes a relaxing trip to a hot spring with his daughters. When Yuuto gets back to the city, he demonstrates to craftsmen how to make a glass, which greatly boosts the Wolf Clan's economy. The slave girl brought back to the place by Yuuto is named Etheria. She's arranged by him for a suitable job in the palace. They both have some conversation as she brings water to him while he's with his other girls. Yuuto suddenly comes up with an idea to increase the country's talent by opening a free school for all children in the tribe. Yuuto recalls the time when he was just summoned to this world by Felicia and he used to be closer to her older brother named Lopter. However, the father of the two cousins was also the previous patriarch, but gave the throne to Yuuto because he saw his talent and abilities. Lopter was not happy with the decision, obviously, so he tried to attack Yuuto. But the patriarch stood to block the attack from him and he immediately falls down covered in blood and dies. Thus Lopter ran away from there and left the whole village as he could be in trouble for harming his father. However, this isn't over yet. Lopter is now the patriarch of the Panther clan and he's leading a large cavalry force to attack the Wolf clan. Yuuto then leads the entire army to the battlefield against Lopter, but his cavalry force quickly appears and charges at the armies. They can't do much, as the Wolf clan's team fires immediately, so they defeat the opposite troops. Lopter continues to encircle Yuuto's army with his cavalry, intending to overwhelm them from all sides so that their teams could not stop his troops with bows. However, Yuuto's army lines up crates to form a barrier around them. It turns out to be mobile walls instead, that was prepared in advance so the Panther clan could not reach inside them. So the Wolf clan continues to shoot them hiding in those walls while the other clan could only run around. Seeing the situation not going accordingly, Lopter orders his sorceress to cast a spell on his soldiers. She follows him and the Panther clan army quickly becomes painless war maniacs. Then the mobile wall is knocked down by the spelled army and Lopter rushes towards Yuuto to attack him. But soon, Felicia stands in front of Yuuto and stops her brother. Even so, Lopter insists on slashing his sister as well, but Yuuto blocks his attack with his sword and protects her. Soon after, Sigrun leads an army of camels to support Yuuto, and all of Lopter's cavalry have to quickly escape as the horses are afraid of the smells of camels. It's been some time since the battle and the first school Yuuto opened officially starts. He has also sent Etheria to this school. In this school, she gets bullied by other students and is boycotted in her own class. Albertina, along with Christina, also applies to join this class to investigate the situation. They then find out that on the first day of school, Yuuto only cared about Etheria, which made other students jealous, so they ostracized her. A red-haired girl is a leader in the boycott of Etheria, so Albertina decides to become the new leader of the class to deal with this. In the days that followed, Albertina quickly becomes the focus of the class, so the red-haired girl gets ignored instead. However, Etheria goes to her and starts a conversation to make her feel less lonely. This warms her, and she becomes friends with Etheria. Back in the palace, Yuuto goes to Ingrid's blacksmith's shop to ask her to make some items for him. And when he requests her to make it as a birthday present for Felicia, she immediately gets angry. She didn't like him asking her to make presents for some other girl. The next day, Yuuto realizes his mistake, so he gives Ingrid a gift. She quickly gets happy and forgives him. In the present time, a classmate of Mitsuki introduces her to her cousin, who is a famous historian. Mitsuki sits down to talk to her in the hope to find more clues about the world in which Yuuto is in. After returning home, she talks to Yuuto about it on the phone. Yuuto steps into a bar where he coincidentally meets Princess Leifa, who has magical powers. She would later become the heir to the Asgard Empire. Knowing about her, Yuuto then invites her to his palace as a guest. When they have a conversation, he pursues her if she can help him find a way back to the present times. Leifa then says that only Lopter's sorceress has the ability to dispel the magic, so she's the only hope. The next day, everyone is enjoying a party to welcome the new year, when Yuuto suddenly receives news that Stinpor is again leading his army to attack the Wolf clan. So he quickly leads his army to the battlefield to confront him. Yuuto has used his moving walls to block the Lightning clan's advance, but this time, Stinpor was prepared. He uses an iron umbrella to block all the arrows from the Wolf clan and continues moving forward. He easily breaks through the border and smashes the walls. Before the Lightning clan is finished, Yuuto receives another piece of news that the Panther clan is also attacking them. Both the Panther clan and the Lightning clan have allied themselves. Soon after, Sigrun appears on the battlefield to fight Stinpor, but he is still so strong that she barely manages to fight against him. The Wolf clan is already at a disadvantage facing two enemies at the same time, so Yuuto decides that he will also go to the front line to increase the morale of the entire army. And this helped. The armies were able to repel the enemy's attacks. Meanwhile, Sigrun's battle with Stinpor is going on extremely intensely. Stinpor easily overpowers Sigrun with his strength. However, she regains her spirits when she hears that Yuuto has just appeared in the front lines. Sigrun decides to use a technique to defeat Stinpor, and when they both rush to confront each other, she successfully slashes Stinpor. That causes him to quickly order his troops to withdraw from the battlefield. The Panther clan's army is also pushed back by the Wolf clan soldiers, so Lopter frantically rushes towards Yuuto to fight him. Felicia, however, jumps to block Lopter's attack, but he mindlessly kicks his sister away. Yuuto gets extremely angry at this, so he draws his sword to fight him. And after a tense battle between them, Yuuto successfully defeats him. In the meantime, Yuuto along with Felicia suddenly feels a strange magic around them, and it turned out that Lopter's sorceress had just used her magic to dispel the summoning. Yuuto realizes that he's now leaving this world, so he leaves his cell phone to Felicia to keep in touch, and he disappears shortly afterward, which leaves Felicia in Greece. Back in the present times, Mitsuki's returning from shopping when she suddenly sees light in a room, and when she steps inside a room, she's surprised to see Yuuto standing there. Both of them are overjoyed to see each other again after such a long time. Yuuto then reaches for cell phone to contact Felicia, however the number is engaged. Back in the palace, Lopter is furious when he hears that Yuuto has been sent back to the future by his own team, as he had always wanted to defeat him with his own hands. And Stinpor is also very upset when his opponent suddenly disappears. The other girls are shocked as well because they hear Yuuto returning to his own times, but Yuuto is happy with his girlfriend. They spend time together and make up for all the 3 years they were apart. They visit malls to buy some new clothes for Yuuto. They have picnic dates and many more fun times together. Yuuto is happy to return home, but deep down he still had some thoughts about the other world. While they're walking at the park, Yuuto receives a call from Felicia. He gets relieved to know that all the girls are safe. However, Sigrun is defeated by the enemy, so the borders are taken by them. Out of concern for everyone, Yuuto asks Felicia to summon him back to the past. Mitsuki gets worried about it as she doesn't want to wait to be together anymore. That evening, Mitsuki calls Yuuto at the temple. She then insists on going to the other world with him, but Yuuto objects, as going to ancient times would be too dangerous. That also meant that she had to sacrifice all her family, friends, and even the lifestyle she was having here in order to be with him. Mitsuki agrees to all of it, and she says she would be very happy to be around him and face anything if they're together. Yuuto gives it a thought and proposes to her to be his wife. He says she can do the sacrifice as a wife rather than a girlfriend, and they can go to the ancient times together. Mitsuki agrees and they both are delighted. They return to ancient times together. Everyone in the city organizes a grand ceremony to welcome Yuuto's return. And there they have a perfect happily ever after. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.